I am 100 years old and I can't carry my own groceries. Let that sit with you for a moment. 100 years on this earth. 100 years of breathing, eating, sleeping, loving, losing. And here I am, standing outside my own apartment door, with a single plastic bag cutting into my palm so deep I can feel my pulse beating against the handle. My other hand is shaking, not a little tremble. I mean shaking like a leaf in a storm, trying to push a key into a lock that hasn't changed in 20 years. But my hands have changed. Everything has changed. There's a can of soup in that bag shifting around, and every time it moves, the plastic stretches a little thinner, and I think, that bag is going to tear before I get this door open. And you know what the worst part is? It's not the pain in my hand. It's not the cold out here in this hallway. It's not even the fact that my breath is coming short and shallow, like I just ran a mile, when all I did was walk 30 feet from the elevator. The worst part is that I did this to myself. Not the aging. I didn't do that. Time did that. But the weakness, that's mine. I earned that. I cultivated it like a garden. I watered it every single day for decades. And now it's in full bloom, and I am standing here alone, reaping exactly what I sowed. If you think someone will always be there to carry your weight, you need to listen to me right now, because I thought that too, and look where it got me. I was beautiful once. I don't say that with vanity. I say it because it mattered. It mattered more than it should have. I grew up in a time when a woman's job was to be delicate, to be soft, to let the man open the jar, lift the box, carry the bags. And I was good at it. Lord, I was good at it. My husband, Richard, he was a big man, broad shoulders, thick hands like baseball mitts. He carried everything, and I mean everything. Groceries, suitcases, furniture, the weight of our entire household. I never once carried a bag from the car to the kitchen. Not once in 43 years of marriage. He would have been insulted if I tried, and I would have been insulted if he let me. That was love to us. That was how it worked. He carries. I keep the house warm. He lifts. I smile. He provides. I receive. And I called it being careful, being smart, being ladylike. My mother told me, Margaret, a woman who does heavy lifting ends up looking like she does heavy lifting. So I didn't. I never picked up anything heavier than a teacup if I could help it. I never opened my own jars. I never dragged my own trash to the curb. I never once felt the strain of a heavy load in my own two hands, because there was always someone there to take it from me. When Richard died, I was 71, And you would think that would have been the wake-up call. But it wasn't, because my sons stepped right in, Michael and David. Good boys, strong boys. They took turns. They came by on Saturdays. They carried my groceries. They changed my light bulbs. They moved my furniture when I wanted the couch on the other wall. I never had to ask twice. I could smell their wives cooking on their jackets when they came in. Garlic and onion and warmth. The smell of full houses, full lives. They'd carry my bags in, kiss me on the forehead, and leave. And I'd stand in my warm kitchen surrounded by everything I needed, everything someone else had placed there for me. And I felt safe. But safe and strong are not the same thing. I didn't know that then. I know it now. Safe is a position. Strong is a capacity. And I never built the capacity. Not once. I remember the exact day everything broke open. It was a Tuesday, October, 4 years ago, so I was 96. The kitchen had this yellow wallpaper that Richard put up in 1987. It was peeling in the corners by then, little curls of pale yellow lifting away from the wall like they were trying to escape. The refrigerator was humming that low, constant hum it always made, the kind of sound you stop hearing until the room goes truly quiet, and then it's the only thing left. David came by that morning. He had his coat on. Not his Saturday coat, the casual one. His good coat, the one he wore to important places. And he had a look on his face that I recognized because I had seen it on Richard's face 50 years before when he had to tell me something he knew I didn't want to hear. He put one bag of groceries on my counter, just one bag. Then he stood there with his hands in his pockets and he said, "Mom, Lisa got the position in Portland. We're moving at the end of the month." Portland, across the entire country. I didn't say anything at first. The clock on the wall was ticking. I had never noticed how loud that clock was. Tick, 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 like it was counting down something I couldn't name. The refrigerator hummed, the wallpaper curled, and my son stood there looking at me with eyes that were asking for permission to live his own life. What was I going to say? No? Don't go? Stay here and carry my groceries until I die? I said, "That's wonderful, sweetheart. Lisa must be so proud." And he looked relieved. God, the relief on his face, like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. My weight. I was the weight. I had been the weight on everyone's shoulders my whole life, and I never even felt it because I was the one being carried. He hugged me. He smelled like aftershave and cold air. He said, "I'll set up a delivery service for your groceries, Mom. You won't have to worry about a thing." Then he left. and I heard his car pull away, the gravel in the parking lot popping under his tires. That sound got quieter and quieter until there was nothing left but the hum of the refrigerator and the ticking of that clock and the silence of a kitchen that used to be full of people and was now full of nothing but yellow wallpaper peeling off the walls. I stood there staring at that single grocery bag on my counter, a plastic bag, probably weighed 10 pounds, and I realized something that nearly took my legs out from under me. I had never carried my own groceries, not once, not in 96 years, not because I was too old, not because I was injured, not because I was incapable, but because I had never been asked to. I had never asked myself to. I had spent an entire century on this planet, and I had never once built the strength to carry my own weight. My hands weren't weak because I was 96. They were weak because they had never been used. Not really. Not for anything that required grip or effort or endurance. They had been decorative, soft, useless, and I had been proud of that. I had been proud of my own uselessness and called it femininity. That was the moment. That was when the truth hit me so hard I had to sit down. And the chair was cold, and the kitchen was cold, and everything was cold because there was nobody there to make it warm anymore. That was 4 years ago. Today, I am 100, and I just carried one bag of groceries from the delivery drop-off downstairs to my apartment on the 3rd floor. The elevator worked, thank God. But that walk down the hallway, that 30 feet from the elevator to my door, felt like a marathon. The bag cut into my hand. I could feel every ounce of that weight. A can of soup, a loaf of bread, a carton of milk, a box of crackers. That's it. That's my whole life in a plastic bag. And now that bag is sitting on my kitchen floor because I couldn't lift it to the counter. So I got on my knees, these old aching knees, and I unpacked it right there on the linoleum, one item at a time. The can of soup rolled toward the cabinet. The bread was a little crushed from the walk. The milk carton was slippery, and I had to grip it with both hands just to set it upright. The empty bag is still there on the floor, crumpled up, wrinkled, thin, useless now that it's done its job. It looks like me, honestly. It looks exactly like me. My apartment is quiet. The radiator clicks on and off like it's trying to decide whether I'm worth keeping warm. The phone is on the kitchen table, but it doesn't ring. Michael passed away 6 years ago. Heart attack. David calls on Sundays, but sometimes he forgets, and I don't remind him because I don't want to be the weight again. I don't want to be the bag someone else has to carry. There are no pictures of visitors on my fridge. There are no visitors to take pictures of. There's a magnet from a dentist's office and a calendar from 2022 that I never replaced, because what difference does it make what day it is when every day is the same? I eat my soup cold now. The pot I need is on the upper shelf. I can't reach it. I'm afraid if I stretch too far, I'll fall. And if I fall, nobody will find me until David calls on Sunday, if he remembers. So I eat cold soup out of the can with a spoon, sitting at a kitchen table built for 4, and I listen to the radiator click, and I think about every bag someone else carried for me, every jar someone else opened, every load someone else lifted, while I stood by with my soft, clean, useless hands and called it love. Now I want you to listen to me. I am talking to you. Yes, you. You think being comfortable is the same as being safe? It's not. Comfortable is a trap. Comfortable is a slow, warm, gentle way to become completely helpless. And you won't feel it happening. That's the worst part. You will not feel yourself getting weaker, because weakness doesn't announce itself. It just shows up one day when you're standing in a hallway with a grocery bag and shaking hands and no one left to call. Carry your own weight. I don't care if someone offers to do it for you. I don't care if it's easier to let them. Carry it anyway. Not because you don't have help, not because no one loves you, but because love leaves. It leaves through death. It leaves through distance. It leaves through the ordinary cruelty of life moving on without asking your permission. And when it leaves, you need to still be standing. Build your body now. Build your grip. Build the strength in your hands so that when you are old and alone in a hallway with a bag cutting into your palm and a key that won't cooperate, you can still get the door open. You can still walk in under your own power. You can still feed yourself and carry yourself and hold yourself up without looking around for someone who isn't coming. Don't wait until you are 100 years old, on your knees on a kitchen floor, unpacking a bag you couldn't lift, to learn what I learned too late. The heaviest thing you will ever carry is the realization that you never learned to carry anything at all. My hand is still shaking, but I got the key in the lock. I turned it. I opened the door, and I walked in alone. That's all I've got left, but it's mine.